Hey guys, Jeremy here, and today I want to show you a piece of tech that I think is really important, especially if you drive and drive a lot, and that is a dash cam. Specifically, this particular model is the TaoTronics car DVR, and the model number is TT-CD05. I picked this up on Amazon, and it was about $53 or $54. And I think dash cams are really important, just in case you're on the road, you're driving, an accident happens, a crash happens, it's not your fault. You'll be able to use that video footage as leverage when it comes to insurance purposes or police matters, or who knows, maybe if you're just driving somewhere and you come across something that's pretty funny in front of your car, you got it captured. You see some beautiful scenery, and it's not like you can stop and take a picture while you're driving. It's already recorded right here on video. And these dash cams, they're inexpensive these days. Sometimes, you can get some that cost you a couple hundred, few $100 if you want to go that far. You can get super cheap ones of questionable quality for 16, $20. Or you can just kind of go in the little middle road like I did and just got something and got some pretty good reviews on Amazon. Like I said, this was like $53, $54. So I'm going to take this out the box, show you everything that you get with this particular model. I'm going to set it up in my vehicle, and we're going to take a look at some sample footage from it as well. So this has a nice little sleeve that can just pull off. Oh, specs. Let me tell you some specs about this camera in particular. Is any specs on the side of the box? What about on the back? All right, so there's no specs actually on this, but once we open it up properly, I'm pretty sure that we will see all that. I can tell you right now that it is a full 1080p camera. All right, so here we go. Here's some specs. Say full HD 1080p camcorder. They're calling it a camcorder, but it's a dash cam. It's a 150-degree wide-angle lens, 2.7-inch screen, a 6G class advanced filter. Not too sure what that means exactly. I'm assuming that it's supposed to cut down on glare on your windshield, probably. Let's see, loop recording, seamless video, la 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 la. So the way that these dash cams typically work is they record in a continuous loop for however long the SD card that you put in it will last. And then once it reaches the end of the SD card, it'll basically go back to the beginning. It'll overwrite the earliest footage with the most current footage. So it's constantly recording, and they tend to record sometimes within like 3-minute, 5-minute intervals or something like that. And then you'll have the ability to press a button on the camera and basically protect that particular file. So in case something happens and you're like, hey, I won't save that, do not overwrite that. You just press a button and that file will be protected, and it will not copy over it when the time comes. Let me show you everything that comes in the box. Of course, you got the camera here. Let me show you that first. Now this dash cam, it kind of looks like an actual camera, like an actual point and shoot camera, but it's not. It's a dash cam. This is what it looks like on the front. This is the lens here. And flip it over on the back, you see there's your screen right there. It is not a touch screen. And then you also have these white buttons along the right side. So it's a very different looking dash camera from most of the ones that I've seen. Up on the top, you've got your mini USB port right there, and then you also have an AV port and a GPS port. I believe that there's an accessory that you can buy separately for this for GPS purposes if you want to use it in that way. Here's the micro SD card slot, and it actually has one in it already, and it is a Kingston 32 gigabyte micro SD card. So that is pretty good that it comes with that. Awesome. So you don't have to provide your own. On the bottom, you got a speaker port, reset button, and there's the mic hole right there, and that is it. Awesome. Oh, and also on the side here, that looks like mini HDMI, I believe. All right, so there's your camera. And then also in here, you got your actually, this is not micro USB, this is mini USB. Yeah, this is a mini USB cable. And you get the mount to go on your window. Now, some of these dash cameras come with an adhesive that you can stick on your window or on your dash. Some of them, like this one, comes with a little suction cup. It kind of depends on what you personally like to use. If you're going to be moving this around from vehicle to vehicle, I think that the suction cup might be the best way to go, because you don't necessarily have to worry about, once that adhesive is on, it could be pretty hard to get it off. So, once you put it on, you got to know it's going to stay here, at least for a while. But if you're constantly moving and switching, then perhaps this suction cup mount will be the best thing for you to do. Best direction for you to go. And lastly, the thing that is going to keep your dash cam powered all the time when it's in your car, this thing right here. I don't know what the proper name for it is, but it plugs into the cigarette lighter of your car, and it's going to keep going. Now, these things typically do not have a very long battery life in them at all, which is why they're designed to always be plugged in. And as long as they're plugged in, when you start up your car, it should automatically start recording and you'll be good. And then we just got some stuff in here. Here's an extended 6-month warranty card, and then the instruction manual. So let's just look at this instruction manual real quick. Let's see if we can get a little bit more details on the specs here. So if you want, you could take still photos with this up to 12 megapixels. Let's see, see if we can do some more specs here. Specs. All right, so we already know that it's full HD 1080p, and the loop recording that I told you about, you can set it in intervals of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes. You have motion detection as well. If you want to put that on, it can automatically start when you start your car. You can do that if you want. Date stamp, G sensor collision warning. Basically, when it detects that a crash has occurred, it's automatically going to lock that file that it's recording, just to be on the safe side. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a camera, right? So first thing we're going to do, I'm going to set this up in the car, and I'm going to show you some sample footage of what this camera can do. Alright you guys, so now we're taking a look at some sample footage from the TaoTronics dash cam, and I gotta tell you, I am very impressed with the video quality this camera has put out. Now, I recorded this at 1080p at 30 frames per second, and I did not mess with any of the other video settings. So I didn't mess around with the field of view, I didn't mess around with the exposure, with white balance, nothing like that. This is all how it looks default out of the camera, and I see that it's quite clear to read the license plates of cars that are in front of you and cars that are around you, and the footage is just overall very pleasant to look at. The suction mount on the camera held together very well when it was attached to my windshield, and as you can see, there's no bumps, there's no jitters. The camera wasn't shifting and changing position at all. Don't know how that's going to hold up over time, but for now the suction cup is doing its job quite well. Now, this camera does come equipped with a microphone, and although it's not the best microphone in the world, it can come in handy in very specific situations. So let me give you an example of how this microphone sounds when the car is not in motion, and then once more when the car is in motion. Alright guys, this is a test of the TaoTronics dash cam microphone. So you can probably barely hear me right now, and I'm not going to raise the volume of this section in post-processing because I want you to know exactly how the camera sounds. Now, it could be quite low, but you got to remember that this dash camera is not meant to be something like a GoPro. It's not meant to capture the best audio quality in the world. Its main purpose is to make sure that you can clearly see in front of you in the license plates of the cars that pass by you in case you ever need that information. However, the microphone is loud enough to pick up on things like horns, for example, so that you can have a little more, you can be a little more comfortable in knowing that if something happens and you try to warn another driver by honking your horn, the camera is definitely going to pick up on that. So while this is definitely not going to be something that you might want to consider using if you wanted like a vlogging camera or something if you were driving, don't use it for that. Just know that it's good enough for the most important things like horns. And this is just a sample of how the microphone sounds when the car is actually in motion. I got all the windows up. The air conditioner is on, but the fan is quite low, so you probably can't hear it all that well. But I'd imagine that it probably sounds very similar to how it did when I was stopped at that stoplight. So far, my first impressions of this camera are I really like it. I think the video quality, which is one of the most important things when you're looking for a dash cam, is very well done. It's quite spot on. I do really like the field of view that it gives you, 150 degrees. Of course, it's going to have a bit of a fisheye effect on the corners, but that's just the nature of wide angle lenses, so that does not bother me at all. But I really do hope that this camera holds up over time. I'm definitely going to be using it a lot in the next week or so. But if you're interested in this camera, I'll just leave a link in the description to Amazon.com where you can check it out for yourself. And thank you very much for checking out this video. And until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I will talk to you later.